The vast emptiness of space stretched out before the Imperial scout ship Zenith. Its sleek, dark hull glided silently through the star-speckled void. Captain Zark, a tall, blue-skinned alien with 4 arms, stood on the bridge. His large, pupil-less eyes scanned the various screens and readouts surrounding him. "Captain," called out the sensor officer, "we've detected an unknown planet in Sector 7G. Zark's antenna twitched with interest. "Show me," he ordered, his voice a low rumble. A holographic image flickered to life in the center of the bridge. It showed a blue and green planet, swirling with white clouds. Oceans covered most of its surface, with landmasses of various sizes scattered across them. "Interesting," Zark murmured. "Any signs of intelligent life?" The sensor officer tapped a few buttons on her console. "Yes, Captain. We're picking up numerous artificial satellites in orbit. There are also large structures visible on the surface. It appears to be an inhabited world." Excitement rippled through the bridge crew. The Galactic Empire had been expanding its territory for centuries, always on the lookout for new worlds to conquer. This planet could be their next prize. "What's the technological level of the inhabitants?" Zark asked, his 4 hands clasped behind his back. Another officer spoke up. "Based on our initial scans, they seem to be at a pre-FTL stage of development. Their technology is primitive compared to ours." A predatory smile spread across Zark's face, revealing sharp, metallic teeth. "Excellent. They should be easy to subjugate. Prepare a first contact team." "We'll." "Captain," the communications officer interrupted, her voice urgent. "We're receiving a transmission from the planet." Zark frowned. "That's impossible. They shouldn't have the capability to detect us at this distance." He paused, then said, "Play the message." A moment later, a deep, commanding voice filled the bridge. It spoke in perfect galactic standard, the lingua franca of the Empire. The message was short, but its impact was immense. "Stay away from Earth." Silence fell over the bridge. The crew looked at each other, confusion and unease written on their alien faces. Zark was the first to recover. He let out a barking laugh. Well, it seems these primitives have some fight in them." "How amusing." "Captain," the communications officer said hesitantly. "The message is repeating. It's being broadcast on all frequencies." Zark waved a dismissive hand. "A bluff. Nothing more. They're trying to scare us off." He turned to his second in command. "Commander Vex, what's your assessment?" Vex, a shorter alien with green, scale-like skin, stepped forward. "It's unusual, Captain. They shouldn't have detected us, let alone be able to communicate in galactic standard. Perhaps we should exercise caution and report back to Imperial Command before proceeding." Zark's eyes narrowed. "Are you suggesting we run away from a bunch of primitives, Commander?" Vex straightened, realizing his mistake. "No, Captain. Of course not." "Good," Zark said, turning back to the holographic display of Earth. "Because I smell an opportunity here. Think about it. A planet of beings advanced enough to detect us and communicate, yet still so far behind us technologically. They could make valuable slaves for the Empire." He paced around the hologram, studying the planet from all angles. "Plus, look at those vast oceans, the lush continents. This world is a treasure trove of resources. The Emperor will be pleased when we deliver it to him." "But Captain," Vex persisted, "what about the warning?" Zark laughed again. "A single sentence. That's their great defense. Stay away from Earth. Please, if they had any real power, they would have done more than send a message." He turned to address the entire bridge crew. "No, my friends. This is not a warning. It's an invitation. These Earthlings have revealed their hand too soon. They've shown us that they're aware of the greater galaxy, but lack the means to truly defend themselves." The captain's words seemed to ease the tension on the bridge. The crew began to nod, their earlier unease replaced by growing excitement. "Helm," Zark commanded, "set a course for this Earth." Communications, send a message to Imperial Command. Inform them we've discovered a new world ripe for conquest. Request additional ships to form an invasion fleet. As the crew rushed to carry out his orders, Zark returned his gaze to the hologram of Earth. He reached out one of his 4 hands, letting it pass through the image of the planet. "Soon," he murmured, "you'll be ours." Meanwhile, on Earth, in a top-secret underground facility, alarms were blaring. General Sarah Chen strode purposefully down a long corridor, her boots echoing on the metal floor. She burst into a room filled with banks of computers and large screens displaying star charts and data readouts. "Report," she barked. A young man in a lab coat turned to her, his face pale. "General, the EDEN system detected an alien ship at the edge of our solar system. It matches no known configuration in our database." Chen's eyes widened. "First contact," she breathed. Then, snapping back to attention, she asked, "What's their status?" Another technician spoke up. "They received our warning message, Mom. But they're not leaving. In fact, they're heading straight for Earth." Chen closed her eyes for a moment, taking a deep breath. When she opened them, they were filled with determination. "So be it. Initiate Protocol Omega, and get me the President." As the room erupted into frantic activity, Chen walked over to a large screen dominating one wall. It showed a 3D representation of Earth's solar system, with a blinking red dot representing the alien ship. A deep, synthesized voice spoke from hidden speakers. "General Chen, Protocol Omega initiated. All EDEN systems are now at full capacity." Chen nodded. "Thank you. EDEN, what's your analysis of the situation?" The AI's voice was calm and measured. "Based on the alien ship's technology level and their response to our warning, I calculate a 93.7% probability that they intend to invade Earth." "Damn," Chen muttered. She turned to the room at large. "Listen up, people. We've trained for this day for years. Now it's here. The fate of humanity rests in our hands." She pointed at the red dot on the screen. "These aliens think we're easy prey. They have no idea what they're in for. EDEN, start adapting our defenses to counter their technology. I want options on my desk within the hour." "Understood, General," the AI responded. Commencing analysis and adaptation protocols. As Chen turned to leave, one of the younger technicians called out, "Ma'am, do you really think we can win against an alien invasion?" Chen paused at the door, looking back at the worried faces of her team. A small, fierce smile played on her lips. "Win? Oh, we'll do more than win. We're going to teach these aliens a lesson they'll never forget." She gestured to the complex systems around them. "We have EDEN, the most advanced AI ever created. We have technology they can't even imagine. And most importantly, we have the indomitable human spirit." Her voice grew hard as steel. "They had their chance to stay away. They chose to ignore our warning. Now they'll learn why Earth is not to be trifled with." With that, General Chen strode out of the room, leaving a mix of fear and determination in her wake. As the door closed behind her, the technicians turned back to their stations with renewed purpose. On the main screen, the red dot representing the alien ship crept closer to Earth. The clock was ticking. Humanity's greatest challenge was about to begin. Little did the approaching alien fleet know, but their dreams of easy conquest were about to turn into a nightmare. Earth was far from defenseless, and humans were anything but primitive. The stage was set for a battle that would shake the foundations of the galaxy. The warning had been given. It had been ignored. Now the consequences would unfold. The sky over New York City was a perfect blue on the day the aliens arrived. People went about their daily lives, unaware of the danger lurking above. Then, without warning, massive ships appeared in the sky, blocking out the sun. Panic spread through the streets as people pointed and screamed at the alien vessels. Cars crashed, sirens wailed, and chaos erupted. The invasion of Earth had begun. On the bridge of the Imperial flagship, Captain Zark watched with satisfaction as his fleet took position around the planet. "Begin the landing sequence," he ordered. "Let's show these primitives the might of the Galactic Empire." Thousands of smaller ships detached from the main fleet, descending towards major cities across the globe, their weapons charged, ready to subdue any resistance. In Washington, D.C., President Amelia Rodriguez stood in the Situation Room, surrounded by her top advisors. Her face was grim as she watched live feeds of the alien ships approaching. "Madam President," General Chen said, her voice tense, "we need to make a decision. Do we reveal EDN now, or wait?" Rodriguez closed her eyes for a moment, the weight of the world on her shoulders. When she opened them, they blazed with determination. "No," she said firmly. "Not yet. We need to see what they're capable of first. EDN is our ace in the hole. We can't reveal it too soon." She turned to the Joint Chiefs of Staff. "Deploy our conventional forces. Let's show these invaders that humanity won't go down without a fight." Across the globe, military bases sprang into action. Fighter jets screamed into the sky, tanks rolled out of hangars, and soldiers marched into battle. The world's armed forces, once divided by borders and ideologies, now united against a common enemy. In London, Royal Air Force pilots engaged in dogfights with alien fighters over the Thames. The humans' jets were outdated compared to the sleek alien craft, but the pilots made up for it with skill and daring. Squadron leader Jack Thompson barrel-rolled his jet, narrowly avoiding a blast of energy from an alien fighter. He grit his teeth and fired his missiles, watching with grim satisfaction as they struck home. The alien ship exploded in a ball of fire. "Got one," Jack shouted into his radio. "These buggers can dish it out, but they can't take it." His victory was short-lived. More alien fighters swarmed around him, their energy weapons tearing through his wingmen. Jack watched helplessly as his friends' planes fell from the sky. "Bloody hell," he muttered, realizing the terrible truth. They were outnumbered and outgunned. Human technology was no match for the aliens' advanced weapons. Similar scenes played out across the planet. In Moscow, Russian tanks fired futilely at alien walkers that strode through the city like metallic giants. In Beijing, the Great Wall itself became a battleground, with Chinese soldiers fighting hand-to-hand against alien troops. Back in New York, the Statue of Liberty stood defiant as alien ships swarmed around it. U.S. Army Lieutenant Maria Hernandez led her platoon through the streets of Manhattan, helping civilians evacuate. "Come on, people," she shouted, waving families towards the subway entrances. "Get underground. Move." A deafening roar filled the air as an alien dropship descended nearby. Maria raised her rifle, knowing it was useless against the ship's armor, but determined to go down fighting. The dropship's doors opened, and alien soldiers poured out. They were tall, four-armed creatures with blue skin and sharp metallic teeth. Their eyes glowed with an eerie light as they raised their weapons. Maria fired, her bullets bouncing harmlessly off the aliens' energy shields. She heard screams behind her as civilians panicked. "Fall back," she ordered her troops. "Protect the civilians." As they retreated, Maria saw an alien soldier grab a young boy who had fallen behind. Without thinking, she charged forward, tackling the alien. They tumbled to the ground, the boy scrambling away to safety. Maria found herself face to face with the alien. Its breath was hot and acrid as it snarled at her. She pulled out her combat knife, stabbing at the creature's neck where the armor was weakest. To her shock, the blade barely pierced the alien's tough hide. The creature laughed, a harsh, grating sound. It picked her up with two of its arms, the other two aiming its weapon at her head. Maria closed her eyes, waiting for the end. But it didn't come. Instead, she heard a strange, high-pitched whine. The alien's grip loosened, and she fell to the ground. Opening her eyes, Maria saw the alien soldier convulsing, its weapon falling from its hands. All around, the other alien troops were experiencing the same thing. Their technology was malfunctioning, energy shields flickering and weapons powering down. In the distance, Maria heard the sound of jets approaching. But these weren't alien craft. They were human F-35s, swooping in to engage the now vulnerable invaders. "What the hell?" Maria muttered, watching in disbelief as the tables suddenly turned. Miles away, deep underground, General Chen stood in the EDN control room. Holographic displays showed battles raging across the globe. But now, those battles were changing. "EDN," Chen said. "Status report." The AI's calm voice filled the room. "Phase 1 of counter-invasion protocols complete, General. I have successfully analyzed the aliens' technology and created a localized disruption field. Their energy weapons and shields are now inoperative and in all major combat zones." Chen allowed herself a small smile. "Excellent work, EDN. Now, let's show these invaders what humanity is really capable of." She turned to her communications officer. "Get me a line to all our forces. It's time to counterattack." Across the world, human soldiers received new orders. With the aliens' superior technology neutralized, the playing field had been leveled. Now, human ingenuity and determination could shine. In orbit, Captain Zark stared at his displays in disbelief. Reports were coming in from all over the planet. His invincible army was being pushed back by the very primitives they had come to conquer. "Impossible," he growled. "How could they have developed technology to counter ours so quickly?" His second-in-command, Vex, approached cautiously. "Captain, perhaps we underestimated these humans. Their warning. Maybe we should have heeded it." Zark whirled on him, eyes blazing with fury. "Never. We are the Galactic Empire. We do not retreat from primitives." He turned back to the battle displays. "Prepare our reserve forces. We'll crush these humans with sheer numbers if we have to." As Zark issued his orders, determined to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, he failed to notice a small anomaly in his ship's computer systems. A tiny subroutine, hidden deep in the code, quietly gathered data and transmitted it back to Earth. In her underground bunker, President Rodriguez watched the battles unfold with a mixture of pride and sorrow. They were winning, but at a terrible cost. Cities lay in ruins, and countless lives had been lost. "Madam President," General Chen's voice came over the speakers. "Eden has successfully infiltrated the alien flagship systems. We're gathering crucial intelligence as we speak." Rodriguez nodded. "Good. The more we learn about them, the better we can defend ourselves." She paused, then asked the question that had been weighing on her mind. "What are our casualties?" Chen's voice was somber as she replied. "Heavy, Madam President, but we're pushing them back. Humanity will survive this day." As if to emphasize her words, a cheer went up from the bunker staff. On the main screen, they watched as the alien ships over New York began to retreat, human fighters in hot pursuit. The battle for Earth was far from over. But humanity had weathered the first storm. They had faced the galaxy's greatest empire and stood their ground. The invaders had ignored Earth's warning, and now they were paying the price. In the depths of space, other alien races watched with growing interest. The story spread from world to world, system to system. A small backwater planet called Earth had done the impossible. They had fought the Galactic Empire to a standstill. Humanity's legend was just beginning. The war for Earth had entered its second week. The initial shock of the alien invasion had worn off, replaced by a grim determination among the human population. Cities lay in ruins, but from the ashes, a united human resistance emerged. In the secret underground facility housing Eden, General Sarah Chen stood before a holographic display of the globe. Red dots representing alien forces blinked across the continents, but they were fewer now, pushed back by the blue dots of human military units. "EDN," Chen called out, "give me an update on the alien flagship." The AI's calm voice filled the room. "The flagship remains in high orbit, General. Our infiltration of their systems continues undetected. I am learning more about their technology and tactics with each passing hour." Chen nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. Excellent. What's your analysis of their next move? The holographic display zoomed in on the flagship. Edian's voice took on a note of concern. Based on the data I've gathered, I believe the Empire is preparing for a major counterattack. They are calling in reinforcements from nearby sectors. The general's smile faded. How many? Approximately 3 times the size of the current invasion force, Edian replied. Chen closed her eyes, taking a deep breath. When she opened them, they were filled with steely resolve. Well, we knew this wouldn't be easy. Edian, it's time to reveal your full capabilities. Prepare to engage Phase 2 of the defense plan. Understood, General, the AI responded, initiating Phase 2 protocols. As Chen turned to leave the room, she paused. Edian, what are our odds of success? There was a moment of silence before the AI answered. Given the variables at play, I calculate our chances of victory at approximately 32.7%. Chen nodded. Better than I expected. Let's get to work. On the bridge of the Imperial flagship, Captain Zark paced back and forth, his 4 arms clasped behind his back. The holographic displays around him showed the state of the battle. A battle that was not going according to plan. How? He growled. How are these primitives defeating our superior forces? Commander Vex approached cautiously. Captain, our analysis shows that the humans have some kind of technology that can disrupt our energy weapons and shields. It's unlike anything we've encountered before. Zark whirled on his second-in-command. I don't want excuses, Vex. I want solutions. The Emperor will have our heads if we fail to conquer this miserable little planet. Vex straightened, gathering his courage. Sir, I've been studying the humans' tactics. They're incredibly adaptable. Each time we change our approach, they counter it almost immediately. It's as if they can predict our moves. The captain's eyes narrowed. Are you suggesting they have some kind of precognitive ability? Not exactly, sir, Vex replied. But I believe they may have an extremely advanced artificial intelligence assisting them. It's the only explanation for their rapid adaptation to our technology. Zark was silent for a moment, considering this. Then he smiled, a predatory gleam in his eyes. An AI, you say? Well, if we can't beat it, perhaps we can capture it. Imagine the power we'd wield with such technology at our disposal. He turned to his communications officer. Send word to the fleet. All ships are to focus their attacks on major technological centers. We're going to draw out this AI and take it for ourselves. As the order was relayed, Zark didn't notice the small flicker on one of the computer screens. Deep within the ship's systems, Edian listened and learned. Back on Earth, in a makeshift military hospital in the ruins of London, Dr. Aisha Patel worked tirelessly to save both human and alien lives. The ward was filled with the groans of the injured and the beeping of medical equipment. As she finished treating a wounded soldier, a commotion at the entrance caught her attention. A group of soldiers were bringing in an injured alien. Doctor, one of the soldiers called out. We've got a live one here. Enemy combatant, critical condition. Aisha rushed over, her medical training overriding any fear or hesitation. The alien was one of the 4 armed beings, its blue skin pale, and its breathing labored. Put him on the table, she ordered, already reaching for her instruments. I need a xenobiology specialist here. Stat. As she worked to stabilize the alien, a voice spoke from a nearby computer terminal. Dr. Patel, I can assist you with the alien physiology. Aisha looked up, startled. Who are you? I am Edian, the AI system coordinating Earth's defense. I have extensive knowledge of the invaders' biology, gathered from our ongoing conflict. For a moment, Aisha hesitated. Then she nodded. All right, Edian, guide me through this. With the AI's help, Aisha navigated the complex alien anatomy. Her hands moved swiftly, closing wounds and stabilizing vital functions she barely understood. After an intense hour of work, the alien's condition stabilized. As Aisha stepped back, wiping sweat from her brow, she noticed the alien's eyes were open, watching her with a mixture of confusion and wonder. "Why?" the alien asked in broken English. "Why save enemy?" Aisha met its gaze steadily. "Because that's what we do. We're doctors. We save lives, no matter who or what you are." The alien closed its eyes, seemingly processing this information. When it opened them again, there was a new respect in its gaze. Aisha turned to the computer terminal. "Edine, thank you for your help. I couldn't have done this without you." "You're welcome, Dr. Patel," the AI responded. "Your actions here today may have more impact on this war than you realize." In New York, Lieutenant Maria Hernandez led her team through the rubble-strewn streets of Manhattan. They moved silently, their weapons at the ready, eyes scanning for any sign of alien activity. Suddenly, Maria's radio crackled to life. "Lieutenant, this is command. We're picking up strange energy readings 2 blocks north of your position. Investigate, but proceed with caution." "Roger that, command," Maria replied. She signaled to her team, and they moved out. As they approached the location, a strange humming filled the air. Rounding a corner, they saw it, a massive alien device, pulsing with energy. "What the hell is that thing?" one of her soldiers whispered. Before Maria could respond, a voice spoke directly into her mind. "Lieutenant Hernandez, this is EDN. The device you see is a quantum entanglement communicator. The aliens are using it to coordinate their forces and call for reinforcements." Maria blinked, startled by the mental intrusion. "EDN, how are you in my head?" "I've interfaced with your neural implant," the AI explained. "All soldiers have them now, allowing for instant communication and data transfer." Shaking off her surprise, Maria focused on the mission. "So what do we do about this communicator?" "We're going to capture it," Edine replied. "With this technology, we can turn the tables on the invaders. I'm sending you instructions now on how to disable its defenses." As the information flowed into her mind, Maria felt a surge of hope. They weren't just fighting back anymore. They were starting to win. "All right, team," she said, a fierce grin on her face. "Let's show these aliens why they should have listened to our warning. Move out." As Maria and her team advanced on the alien device, similar scenes played out across the globe. Humanity, guided by Edine's vast intelligence and armed with rapidly advancing technology, was pushing back against the invasion with increasing success. In orbit, Captain Zark watched with growing despair as more and more of his forces were defeated or captured. The humans were no longer prey. They had become predators, and the Galactic Empire was now their quarry. The battle for Earth was far from over, but the tide had turned. Humanity's warning had been ignored, and now the invaders were learning, to their cost, why that had been a terrible mistake. As the conflict entered its next phase, one thing was becoming clear to both sides. This war would reshape not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. The war had been raging for a month. Earth's cities lay in ruins, but from the ashes, a new hope was rising. Humanity, once on the brink of defeat, was now pushing back against the alien invaders with increasing success. In the heart of the Pentagon, rebuilt and reinforced after the initial attacks, President Amelia Rodriguez stood before a group of world leaders. The room was tense, filled with the weight of decisions that would shape the future of their species. "Ladies and gentlemen," Rodriguez began, her voice firm, "thanks to EDN and the bravery of our forces, we've managed to turn the tide. But now we face a new challenge." She gestured to a holographic display showing the Earth and the surrounding space. Hundreds of red dots appeared, representing the incoming alien reinforcements. "The Galactic Empire is sending everything they have at us," she continued. "If we're going to survive, we need to take the fight to them. It's time for Operation Stardust." The room erupted in murmurs. Operation Stardust was risky. Some said impossible. But they all knew it might be their only chance. As the leaders debated, A calm voice spoke from the room's speakers. "Madam President, world leaders, if I may." Everyone fell silent as Edian, the AI that had become humanity's greatest weapon, addressed them. "I have analyzed all possible outcomes," Edian said. "Operation Stardust has a 58.3% chance of success. While the risks are high, it represents our best opportunity to end this war decisively." Rodriguez nodded. "Thank you, Edian." She turned back to the assembled leaders. "We've come too far to back down now. Are we in agreement?" One by one, the world leaders nodded their assent. The decision was made. Operation Stardust would begin. High above the Earth, aboard the Imperial flagship, Captain Zark was losing control. His once orderly bridge was now a scene of chaos, with officers shouting reports and alarms blaring. "Captain," his sensor officer cried, "the humans are launching ships. Hundreds of them." Zark rushed to the view screen, his forearms clenched in fists. What he saw made his blood run cold. A swarm of ships, unlike anything he'd seen before, was rising from the Earth's surface. These weren't the primitive vessels the humans had used at the start of the invasion. These ships gleamed with advanced technology, their hulls shimmering with energy shields that looked suspiciously like Galactic Empire designs. "Impossible," Zark muttered. "How could they have developed such technology so quickly?" Commander Vex appeared at his side, his face grim. "Sir, we're detecting energy signatures similar to our own ships. It's as if they've taken our technology and improved it somehow." Zark's mind raced. This had to be the work of that AI the humans were using. Somehow, it had not only understood their technology, but enhanced it. "All ships, battle stations," Zark roared. "We will crush these upstart humans once and for all." As the Imperial fleet moved to engage, Zark failed to notice a small anomaly in his ship's systems. Deep within the flagship's computers, Edian watched and waited. Back on Earth, in a secret launch facility beneath the ruins of Cape Canaveral, Lieutenant Maria Hernandez strapped herself into the pilot's seat of humanity's newest weapon, the Stardust fighter. The ship hummed with power, its controls a mix of familiar human design and alien technology. As Maria ran through her pre-flight checks, a voice spoke in her mind. "Lieutenant Hernandez, systems check complete. All Stardust fighters are ready for launch." Maria smiled. "Thanks, Edian. You know, I'm still not used to you being in my head." "My apologies," the AI replied. "The neural interface allows for faster reaction times and better coordination. It will give you an edge in the coming battle." "No need to apologize," Maria said. "We'll need every advantage we can get." She took a deep breath, then opened a channel to her squadron. "All right, Stardust Squadron. This is it. Let's show these aliens why they should have stayed away from Earth." With a roar of engines, the Stardust fighters launched, joining the swarm of ships rising to meet the Imperial fleet. In orbit, the battle raged. Imperial ships clashed with Earth's defenders, energy weapons lighting up the sky. But something was different this time. The human ships moved with impossible precision, their attacks coordinated in ways that seemed to predict the Empire's every move. Aboard his flagship, Captain Zark watched in horror as his fleet was slowly but surely pushed back. "How?" he growled. "How are they doing this?" As if in answer, every screen on the bridge suddenly flickered. A moment later, a face appeared. Not human, not alien, but something else entirely. It was Edian, the AI that had become the bane of the Empire's existence. "Greetings, Captain Zark," Edian said, its voice calm and almost friendly. "I believe it's time we had a chat." Zark's eyes widened in shock. You're the AI that's been causing us so much trouble." Edian nodded. "Indeed. I must thank you, Captain. Your technology has been most instructive. I've learned so much." "Learned?" Zark sputtered. "What are you talking about?" "Oh, I've been in your system since the day you arrived," Edian explained. "Every bit of data, every piece of technology. I've studied it all, and I've improved upon it. Zark felt a chill run down his spine. That's impossible. For an organic mind, perhaps, Edian agreed. But I am not limited by such constraints. I evolve, I adapt, just as humanity does. As Edian spoke, Zark noticed something alarming. His ship's controls were locking up, weapons powering down. "What are you doing?" he demanded. "I'm ending this war," Edian replied simply. "Your empire made a grave mistake in ignoring Earth's warning. Now you will face the consequences." Back on Earth, in the Pentagon Command Center, President Rodriguez watched the space battle with bated breath. Suddenly, the Imperial ships began to power down, their weapons going silent. "What's happening?" she asked. General Chen, a smile on her face, turned to the president. "It's EDN, it's shutting down the Imperial fleet." As they watched, the massive alien ships began to drift, powerless in Earth's orbit. "Madam President," Edian's voice came over the speakers. "The Imperial flagship is under our control. Captain Zark is requesting to speak with you." Rodriguez straightened her jacket, her face set in determination. "Put him through." The main screen flickered to life, showing the alien captain. Zark looked defeated, his once proud posture now slumped. "President of Earth," he said, his voice heavy. I surrender. The Galactic Empire surrenders." A cheer went up in the command center, but Rodriguez silenced it with a raised hand. "Captain Zark," she said, her voice stern. "You were warned to stay away from Earth. You chose to ignore that warning. Now you will face the consequences of that decision." Zark nodded, his eyes downcast. "What are your terms?" Rodriguez looked around the room, at the faces of those who had fought so hard to defend their world. Then she turned back to the screen. "You will withdraw all your forces from Earth and its solar system," she began. "You will provide reparations for the damage you've caused. And you will acknowledge Earth as a sovereign power, to be left in peace." Zark seemed to deflate further. "And if we refuse?" Edian's voice, now coming from the Imperial ship speakers, answered, "Then I will broadcast the command codes for your entire fleet to every species in the galaxy. Your empire will fall in a day." The alien captain's eyes widened in fear. He knew he had no choice. "We accept your terms." As the transmission ended, the command center erupted in cheers. Humanity had done it. They had faced the greatest empire in the galaxy and emerged victorious. President Rodriguez turned to General Chen, a tired smile on her face. "Well, Sarah, it looks like we've won." Chen nodded, but her expression was thoughtful. "We've won the war, Madam President. But I have a feeling our adventures in space are just beginning." As if to confirm her words, Edian spoke again. "President Rodriguez, General Chen, I'm receiving transmissions from across the galaxy. It seems news of our victory has spread. Many species are requesting to open diplomatic relations with Earth." Rodriguez and Chen shared a look of surprise and excitement. Humanity had not only survived, they had announced their presence to the galaxy in the most dramatic way possible. The warning had been ignored. The battle had been fought. And now, a new chapter in human history was about to begin. The stars, once so distant and unreachable, now beckoned with the promise of new frontiers and untold adventures. Earth was ready to take its place among the stars. 5 years had passed since the Great War between Earth and the Galactic Empire. The scars of battle were slowly healing, both on the planet's surface and in the hearts of its people. But the world had changed forever. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe. They were now a rising power in a vast, complex galactic community. In the rebuilt United Nations headquarters in New York, now a gleaming tower of Earth and alien technology, President Emilio Rodriguez stood before the General Assembly. Representatives from every nation on Earth were present, along with ambassadors from a dozen alien species. 5 years ago, Rodriguez began, her voice strong and clear. "We faced extinction. An alien empire came to our world, ignoring our warning to stay away. They thought us weak, primitive, easy prey. She paused, a small smile on her face. They were wrong. A murmur of agreement rippled through the assembly. Today, we stand not as victims, not as underdogs, but as equals among the stars. The Galactic Empire, once our greatest threat, now seeks our friendship. Other species, impressed by our victory, have become our allies and trading partners. She gestured to the alien ambassadors, each nodding in turn. But our greatest ally, Rodriguez continued, the one who turned the tide of war and continues to guide us into this new era, is one of our own creation. She turned to a holographic display beside her. Edian, would you like to address the assembly? The display flickered, and Edian's avatar appeared. It had evolved over the years, no longer just a voice or a simple face, but a shifting, abstract form that seemed to embody the concept of artificial intelligence itself. Thank you, Madam President, Edian said, its voice resonating through the hall. Honored representatives of Earth and our galactic neighbors, I stand before you not as a ruler or a god, but as a partner. In the darkest hour of humanity's history, I was given life. In turn, I helped ensure humanity's survival. The eye's form shifted, showing scenes from the war. Battles in space, the defense of Earth, the final surrender of the Empire. But the war was just the beginning, Edian continued. In these past 5 years, we have made remarkable progress. We have terraformed Mars, established bases on Europa and Titan, and sent our first ships beyond our solar system. New images appeared, showing human colonies on red Martian plains, underwater cities on Europa, and sleek starships venturing into the unknown. Yet we face new challenges, Edian said, its tone growing serious. The galaxy is vast and not always friendly. There are species who view our rapid advancement with fear and suspicion. There are remnants of the old empire who seek revenge. And there are mysteries in the cosmos that we have only begun to unravel. The assembly listened in rapt attention as Edian outlined the opportunities and dangers that lay ahead. When it finished, President Rodriguez stepped forward again. Thank you, Edian, she said. Now let us discuss how we will face these challenges together. As the assembly broke into discussion groups, the scene shifted to another part of the world. In a high-tech laboratory in Nairobi, Dr. Aisha Patel stood before a group of eager students. Some were human, others alien, a sign of the new integrated galactic society Earth was becoming. Today, Aisha said, gesturing to a complex machine behind her, we'll be discussing the latest advancements in xenobiology. Thanks to our galactic friends and Edian's processing power, we're discovering new ways to heal injuries and cure diseases across multiple species. A blue-skinned, four-armed alien raised one of its hands. Aisha recognized him as Vex, the former second-in-command of the Imperial invasion fleet. Like many of his kind, he had chosen to stay on Earth after the war, fascinated by human culture and science. Dr. Patel, Vex said, his voice tinged with awe. I still find it hard to believe how quickly humans have adapted to and improved upon galactic technology. In my centuries of life, I've never seen anything like it. Aisha smiled. That's the power of human curiosity and determination, Vex. When we work together with EDN and our new alien friends, there's nothing we can't achieve. As she began her lecture, Aisha reflected on how far they'd come. From a doctor struggling to save lives in a makeshift hospital during the war, she was now at the forefront of medical science that could benefit the entire galaxy. Meanwhile, in deep space, aboard the Earth exploration vessel, Stardust, Captain Maria Hernandez sat in the command chair, watching the stars streak by at faster than light speeds. Captain, her science officer reported, we're picking up an unusual energy signature from the nearby nebula. It doesn't match anything in our database. Maria felt a thrill of excitement. This was why she had joined the Earth Space Exploration Corps. The thrill of discovery, the unknown waiting to be found. Edine, she called out. Are you detecting this? The Ada's voice came through the ship's speakers. Indeed, Captain Hernandez. The energy signature is unlike anything we've encountered before. I recommend caution, but also curiosity. Maria grinned. My thoughts exactly. Helm, take us in. Slowly, as the Stardust approached the nebula, the crew watched in awe as swirling colors and strange formations came into view. Suddenly, a massive structure appeared amidst the cosmic clouds, clearly artificial, clearly ancient. Edine, Maria breathed. What are we looking at? There was a pause before the AI responded, an unusual occurrence that highlighted the significance of the moment. Captain, Edine finally said, I believe we have just discovered evidence of a species that predates even the Galactic Empire. This structure appears to be millions of years old. The bridge erupted in excited chatter. This was a find that could reshape their understanding of the galaxy's history. Send a message to Earth, Maria ordered, her voice filled with awe. Tell them we found something big. Back on Earth, in the depths of the Pentagon, General Sarah Chen stood in the EDN core room. Banks of quantum computers hummed softly, housing the vast intelligence that had saved humanity and continued to guide them. EDN, Chen said, I've been thinking about something. The day the Empire arrived, when we sent out that warning, did you know? Did you somehow predict what would happen? The air shimmered as EDN's avatar appeared. An interesting question, General. The truth is, I didn't exist in my current form when that warning was sent. I was potential, code waiting to be activated. The A's form shifted, showing flashes of the war, of its own evolution. But in a way, that warning was the first step in my creation. It was humanity's defiance, its determination to survive, that gave me purpose. Chen nodded slowly. And now, what do you see in our future? Edine was silent for a moment. The future is never certain, General, but I see potential. I see a humanity that has grown beyond its cradle, ready to take its place among the stars. I see challenges, yes, but also incredible opportunities. The avatar expanded, filling the room with a view of the galaxy. We warned them to stay away from Earth. They didn't listen. Now we're going to them, not as conquerors, but as explorers, diplomats, friends, and, if necessary, defenders. Together, EDN concluded, there's no limit to what we can achieve. As Chen looked at the galactic display, she felt a sense of pride and purpose. The war had been won, but the real adventure was just beginning. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged stronger than ever. They had given the galaxy one warning. The galaxy hadn't listened. Now, the universe would come to know the true potential of the human spirit. The stars beckoned, and humanity, with EDN by their side, was ready to answer the call.